Good afternoon, everyone. It's Scott from PSP. Today I'm going to take you through a little bit of a low back prevention or a low back maintenance program. Maybe you've been sitting around a little bit more with this time off. Maybe you've been sitting more at work if you're still at work. So a little bit more on the admin side. Things are starting to tighten up. We're not moving as much as we should be. So let's kind of focus on that today. What you're going to need to start. You're going to need some kind of band, some kind of elastic of some kind. You need yourself a foam roller, or as I've shown in the previous video, you can use the lacrosse ball as well. And then last but not least, some kind of ball. If you don't have a ball, use the edge of your couch. Use something you can get your feet up a couple feet on, okay? So nothing too high, just something to get your feet off the ground, just that little bit. So how we're gonna achieve this? We're gonna start with foam rolling. We're then gonna go to some static stretching, which again, we normally hear as a detrimental thing, but because this isn't for performance, we can do it pre-exercise base, okay? So foam rolling first, then into static stretching, then we're gonna activate some of those weaker muscles that don't seem to be wanting to fire right now, or maybe they're just not firing correctly, and then we're gonna integrate those movements all together and actually get them into a loaded exercise, okay? Step one, starting with your foam roller. We're doing 4 spots. First one we're doing is our quadriceps, so the front of the thigh. Next we're going to the IT band, which is everyone's favorite, down the side of the leg. We then get up into our adductors, so the inside, which is again where we tend to forget the most, as well as we're gonna get into the piriformis or into those glute muscles, which are usually the ones that are causing our biggest problems. All right, 30 seconds of each on each side, okay? So you're gonna do 30 seconds on your right side, 30 seconds on your left side, then you're gonna move down to the next exercise. You're only doing each of them once, and then we're gonna move on from there. So, first things first, with our quads. How you're gonna set yourself up, we wanna roll anywhere from just behind the knee, so just above the knee, to just below the kind of bone on the side, which is called our greater trochanter, on the side there. So anywhere in between that is the distance that you wanna roll, okay? So, just above the knee to just below that bone. Okay, so it's kind of just below the hips, just below the groin. You're gonna roll around, you're gonna find what's bad. And what I mean by that is you're looking for that knot, you're looking for that tightness, that tension, kind of that gross feeling. Most people feel it just above the knee. Once you have it, you're gonna hang out here. Hold for 5 to 10 seconds, get your mind off of it. You should then tend to have that muscle relax for you. Then you're gonna move around again. We're gonna look for that next spot, okay? We're just gonna roll through, keep finding. Sometimes you only find one spot and it takes a long time to let go. Sometimes you can find 2 or 3 spots that take a very short amount of time to let go. So either way, you're just rolling through, 30 seconds time frame, trying to find what you need. Beautiful. Next guy we're coming up to is IT band. So again, turning to the side, exact same thing, from just above the knee to just below that greater trochanter. You have 2 options. Number 1, we put the top foot in front, the other foot straight. Notice that my body is nice and straight. I'm not pitched forward. Nice straight spine as we go through, and we roll. If you're feeling ambitious, you stack both feet on top of each other, using your top hand to support if needed, and same thing, we roll. Staying relaxed the whole time. Right there, that's the spot. Everyone just had a chuckle as they saw me grimace and wince at that guy, but once you get to it, you'll know. So just holding on, same thing, 30 seconds time frame. Reason we do this loosens up the sock that sits around the muscle. So if you think that there's a sock placed around that muscle, the muscle can stretch further than the sock can. So what we need to do is we need to loosen up that sock, warm up that sock, and then that way that the muscle inside that can actually stretch further and do what it's supposed to more efficiently. That's the whole reason for foam rolling. All right, obviously the other side, okay? So this being a single-sided exercise, you need to do both, or the quadriceps, you could have done both at the same time, okay? Next guy we move into is adductors. Adductors is a little bit tricky. You need to bring that knee up to 90 degrees. So plank first, we have the foam roller right beside us. I'm laying on my stomach, I bring that knee up to 90 degrees. I then bring that foot out to the 90 degrees. So not way out and not super close behind that foam roller. I want it still at that 90 degrees resting, rolling anywhere from just inside the knee to just below the groin. We never want to roll right into the groin and right into that joint. Joints are not a good spot to be. Again, most people are gonna feel this one a little bit closer to the knee, but that doesn't mean that that's where it's always gonna be. Rolling through, find your worst spot, hang out. Biggest thing here is get your mind off of it. If you want that body to relax the muscle, you gotta get your mind off of it, okay? This one is a huge neurological release. So if it's that brain to body connection, if you can get that connection to let go, they relax a whole lot easier. If it's a super tight, tender area, you can always back yourself off by putting that foot down to release some of the tension, but ideally you wanna be able to load into it and still get that mind off of it, all right? Same thing, 30 seconds. After that, flip to the other side, all right? And last but not least, we're getting into the piriformis. This one's everyone's favorite. We've done it lots with us. PSP is huge with this one when it comes to foam rolling because it does work very well. If you've ever had sciatic problems, this is a great one for it as well. What you're gonna do is sit right on top of the foam roller. Kick one leg straight. Opposite leg's going across the knee. Whichever knee is in the air, that hand goes behind you. Other hand just comes up on the knee for balance. You're then gonna take that up knee. We're gonna rotate about 45 degrees, okay? From here, you're then gonna start to roll forward. Most people roll backwards and they feel like they're gonna fall off the foam roller. You actually wanna get yourself into it, cross over, and you're actually gonna roll forward, almost like you're falling off the foam roller forward. The glute comes up quite high, okay? And it comes across the hip and it does attach with that low back musculature. So we wanna be able to get up into those fibers. Now, if you want more of a stretch to that, we pull that bottom leg closer, gives a more open stretch here, more open hip down at the bottom, and we just roll through. This one, I'm a massive advocate of using the lacrosse ball. If you want to go there, that is definitely an advanced technique. So don't just jump straight into that guy, but you would do the exact same thing, except you would just roll away first to get the ball under your butt, and then you would roll back on top of it, okay? So same thing, dig around. Make sure you're doing both sides, 30 seconds apiece. Beautiful. All right, let's ditch that foam roller. This guy leaves. Next, we gotta get into our static stretching of those musculatures now. So, excuse me. We're gonna start with a kneeling hip flexor. So, from the side, opposite leg comes up. You'll notice a nice straight line. We're gonna push the hips forward. We're not just gonna pitch forward. We're gonna tip the hips. We're not gonna lean back, all right? Tip the hip, we hold. Now I want you to squeeze that trailing leg, I want you to squeeze that butt cheek. If that's enough, you hang out right there. If you wanna step it up, we grab that back leg. Now if you need a place to balance, as you can see it is a little bit trickier, you can then get more of the quad, keep that hip pushed and keep that butt cheek squeezed. If not, again, hanging out right here. 30 full seconds. Then you're gonna flip sides. Exact same thing happens. We push through, we squeeze that back glute. We keep everything balanced. Again, grab if you need it. Only if you need it. All right, next guy that we're getting into. Lying hamstrings. We're kind of getting into the IT a little bit, okay? I'm gonna show it from the side and I'm gonna show it from the front. So, coming down, both legs go straight. You're gonna kick one leg straight into the air. Notice no bend here, none of this. Nice and straight. Opposite hand comes across, grabs just above the knee. You can kind of feel the guitar strings right here. That's your lateral hamstring. From there, keeping your hips down to the ground. We're just pulling that leg across the body until we feel that stretch. And for me, it's right there. It runs right from my hip, it runs all the way to my ankle, okay? We're just gonna sit and hold this guy. 30 seconds. So again, showing it again. Spinning down, leg comes straight up. Again, nice straight leg. Opposite hand comes across. We then pull that across the body, and that's all I need right there to feel the stretch. If you want a little bit more, take your toes, pull them towards you. You're getting a little bit of calf in there as well. A little bit of double duty is never a bad thing. 30 seconds. Then of course we repeat. Other side. All right. Number 3, getting into those adductors. Easiest way to do it is in a kneeling position. I drop my toes, so I don't like to sit on my toes, I like to sit on the floor, okay? On the floor, kick one leg out. Notice that the foot is flat to the ground. We're not keeping it flat onto the side, flat bottomed. Okay, from here, you're just gonna kind of hinge forward until you feel that stretch along the inside. For me, that's it right here. Some can get lower. If you need to get lower, you just start to shift all your weight out and you just get a little bit deeper, okay? 30 seconds. Nice and simple program, right? Nice and easy. You can do this in front of the TV. You don't have to worry about anything like that. Doesn't take away from your day. Switching sides, same thing. Showing from the opposite side, sit down, don't sit on the toes, and lean into it. Feel that stretch down the inside, nice flat foot. Beautiful. Once your 30 seconds elapsed, we got one last one. Last one's called the figure 4 stretch. Again, you've seen it quite a bit. I'm gonna do it from the back just so you can kind of see as well from the side. So, lying down, cross one leg over the opposite knee. You'll then create this hole. You're gonna reach between, lock your fingers behind your knees, lay back, pull your knees towards your chest until you feel that stretch across that butt cheek, kind of into that deep glute musculature, and we hold. Same thing, 30 seconds. From the opposite side to C, we cross one over, we reach through the hole, we lean back. Now, if you want this foot in the air, it doesn't matter. I like to droop it. That's up to you. If you prefer to hold out here, that doesn't mean anything, so that's totally cool. Wherever's comfortable for you. There's your hold. 30 seconds. Done both sides. We've now completed 2 of the 4 steps that we need to do. We've done our foam rolling. We've done our static stretching. Now we actually have to get into activating some of those muscles that aren't working that well as efficiently. First one's gonna be a glute med wall slide. How this one works is it's gonna work the sides of the hips. You're gonna get close to a wall. I want you to place your bottom hip, so in my case here, it's my left hip, that cheek right against the wall. The top, I should be able to slide my hand behind. So I should be ever so slightly pitched forward, just a hair, okay? Both heels to the wall, top hand for support, because you're gonna feel like you're falling forward. Wherever you want your other hand, doesn't matter, okay? I prefer this guy, it just supports my neck a whole lot better. From here, bring that top foot up with your heel pressing against the wall. Remember to have this gap, don't lose it. Turn your toe and rotate it towards the ground and pull your toes up towards you. From there, you're sliding up, only to the point where you start to feel the hip move. If you go higher, you're gonna see that this hip pinches, it kind of hikes up. We don't want that. We want the drive into the wall, and that's as far as we go, okay? Slowly coming down, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold there while still pressing into the wall. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, up, 2, down, 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, up, 2. Okay? So that tempo is 4 seconds on the way down while pressing. Once you get to the bottom, you hold for 2, still pressing. Then take 2 seconds to bring it back up to the top. So it's our tempo of 4, 2, and 2. 4 to lower. Hold for 2. Up for 2. Okay? You're gonna repeat that for 1 to 2 sets. You're gonna do 10 to 15 repetitions of that. Then you're gonna flip over and do the other side. So I've done my 10 to 15. Again, same thing. Bottom hip right up against the wall. Top hip I can get my hand behind. Remember, heel against the wall. Turn your toe down, pull your toes up. And up for 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, don't go too high. We don't want this crunch here. It's an ab exercise. You should be able to feel it on the side of the hip and then start into the back of that glute musculature, okay? So sides of the hips, glute med is what you're feeling, all right? Next one, quadruped, opposite arm, opposite leg. Also called the bird dog, depending on who you talk to, depending on who you read. So what it's gonna look like, showing from the side and from the front. Notice that I'm not rounded out here. Hands are directly under the shoulders, knees are directly under the hips. From here, kicking the leg straight back. Just gonna slide up here. Kicking the leg straight back, not up, because you'll notice that this arches really bad. I want to keep that nice and straight, nice and neutral. From here, we kick the leg straight back. The opposite arm is coming together. We hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice I'm not touching the ground. Everything's still free. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so again, that 4, 2, 2. What it looks like from the front. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. We kick back, hands up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2. Make sense? Doing great so far. Keep this up. Again, all one side first, then go ahead and do the other side. Don't alternate. We'll see a lot that want to do this. Try and stay away from it. I want to be able to build the fatigue on one side, give that side a break, then you're going to build the fatigue on the other side. That's why we do the hover. We're never touching down. If we touch down, the body relaxes. So I want that little bit of a hover and then kick back. The little bit of a hover and kick back. Remember the 4, 2, 2 tempo, okay? If you can't remember it, go back to the previous exercise where I did a little bit of a deeper explanation of it, and that way you can refresh it into your mind as you go through this next exercise. Next guy, stability ball glute bridge. If you don't have the stability ball, don't use it. Use a couch, use a chair, use something that's gonna get your feet off. So stack some textbooks 18 inches off the ground. Put your feet up on that. Just make sure it's stable. The reason for the ball is it gives you some instability. It makes you wobble side to side. So a little bit more core. Heels on top only. Shoulders are flat, back is tilted nice and tight. From here, I want you to fire through the glutes. If you're feeling more up in the quads than you do down in the glutes, these guys obviously are too dominant. We need these guys to work more. So really focus on them. One cue that you can do is if you physically touch the muscle, so if you poke the muscle while you lift, it's gonna activate a little bit more, and you're also gonna know, because you're gonna feel the tension within it, to know that it's doing what it's supposed to. So, I don't want the hands out here. I want elbows. If you need a little bit more stability, hands, because I want that instability of you having to balance your own self, all right? If you really want to do it, you take the hands right off the ground, no elbows, no hands. Right off the ground, and we're up. So level 1, we lift. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice I'm not touching the ground, okay? If I move my hand out of the way, you can see I can get my other hand right underneath. Hold for your 2 seconds, up for your 2 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, up, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, up, 2. All right? As you're lifting, remember, don't be afraid. You can kind of poke, because most people are going to feel their quads. They're going to feel those guys fire. I want posterior side working. I want glutes working. So as you come up, really squeeze them. Poke if you need to. Double check. Even when you're coming down, I want you to keep them engaged the entire time. Don't lose it. Don't relax those and just feel quads. Keep everything fully tight, tensioned. Up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, level 1, level 2, level 3. Your choice. 10 to 15 reps, 1 to 2 sets. Last one. We've now got some of those muscles activating, okay? If you found that glutes were all of a sudden working so hard and they're screaming, great. Means they haven't been doing what they're supposed to be doing for a while. Now they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, so they're tired because they've never had to work like this before. This is what you need. Last one, we're going to incorporate all those movements together. So we want to fire glutes, we want to fire glute medius, we want to get the core engaged. What you're going to do, lateral band walks for your integrated exercise. You've done them before, you've seen them before, guaranteed. A couple different ways to accomplish them. I'm only using one band. Some people like to teach 2 bands. It's completely up to you. if you're doing one band. Just above the knees, you can get all fancy and try and make it nice and everything like that. If it's bunched up, it doesn't matter. If you want a second band, it's going right around the ankles, okay? Just above the ankles, never on the joint. You're gonna get into a little semi-squat position without using the whole hip to try and get up there. I want you to pull with the knee and slowly control that other one back. Pull with the knee, slowly let it come back. Don't just pull and let it fling, okay? The other thing that we see is a lot of people do this. So they lead with their foot. Same thing, just like a good squat pattern, I want the knees over toes. How we're gonna achieve that is lead with your knee, okay? So you're in your little squat, glutes are engaged, make sure, okay? If you're here and you're feeling low back, glutes aren't doing their job. Get them firing first. From here, knee, shift your weight, lift, and slowly bring it in. Knee, shift, and up. Knee, shift, and up. You're gonna do 10 to 15 in one direction. You're then gonna repeat and go 10 to 15 in the other direction. Same thing, 1 to 2 sets. Your choice, depends on what you're feeling. If you're not finding it that hard, you're gonna do that second set. If you're finding things are really screaming, you're only doing 1 set for now. In a couple weeks time, you're then gonna do a second set, okay? You can easily do this 2 to 3 times a week. Takes maybe half an hour-ish. It's very, very short. You can fit it right into your lunch break. You can fit it in between taking care of the kids. Maybe it's nap time, maybe they're doing their homework. Here's your chance to do that. It's supper time, you're waiting for the water to boil. You pop down, you do half this exercise program, and then you're ready to roll, continue with your cooking, continue on with your day. So it's super easy to fit in. It's something that you need minimal equipment for. And again, if you don't have some of these pieces, improvise, find some things that will work. I've seen people use the side of the couches, chairs, like I've mentioned before. Some people have used boxes. Some people have put a bunch of shirts in a hoodie to try and give a little bit of instability. Kind of, be creative. See what you have in the house. Dig around in that back closet you haven't looked into in forever. See what you can find. You'd be surprised what you can find to kind of get these home workouts in while saving money, not having to go out, keeping that distancing at a good distance, things like that, doing all the things that we need to be able to push ourselves through this and be able to get back into a regular workforce sooner than later. All right, guys, take care. Give it a shot. See how you feel with it.